The galaxy had grown used to laughing at humans. To the great empires of the stars, Earth was a small blue world with noisy markets, endless music, and too much patience. For over a century, humanity had sat quietly in the corner of galactic politics, trading, talking, and offering peace, while the stronger species carved up the stars. To many aliens, humans were harmless. To some, they were a joke. That illusion shattered in one night. The Galactic Council was in session. The wide chamber stretched across the heart of a star fortress, filled with thousands of representatives. Creatures of every shape and size debated laws and treaties, but one voice was always silenced. Earth's ambassador, Maya Velasquez, sat at her podium, trying to push through a request. She wanted protection for the human colonies along the rim. Pirates had raided them again, leaving hundreds dead. "We ask only for patrol support," Maya said firmly. Her voice carried across the chamber. "The colonies are part of the trade routes. If they fall, your own cargo ships will be next." The hall erupted in laughter. The Thark delegate, a lizard-like being with jeweled armor, hissed loudly. "Your people are weak, always crying for help. Why should the galaxy's fleets waste time protecting your soft little farms?" Maya clenched her fists, but stayed calm. She repeated her plea, but the laughter only grew louder. Some of the alien representatives pounded the tables, chanting the word harmless, harmless. That was the label given to Earth in the Council database. Not dangerous, not threatening. A species meant for trade, not war. Maya lowered her head. She knew her words were useless. The Council would never care. Humanity had begged for help too many times, and each time the answer was the same: mockery. What no one in the chamber knew was that this would be the last time humanity asked. Far from the shining council halls, the colony of Series 9 burned. It was a small world on the edge of human space, filled with farms, schools, and families. Children played in fields beneath the sky domes. Merchants sold fruit grown in alien soil. Life was peaceful until the raiders came. Dozens of pirate ships descended without warning. They bombed the domes, shattering them into fire and smoke. Thousands suffocated as the air leaked away. Soldiers tried to fight back with rifles and old gunships, but the pirates had war cruisers. The defense collapsed within an hour. The aliens did not stop at conquest. They killed anyone who resisted, dragged others into slave ships, and left entire towns in ruins. By the time the smoke cleared, over 30,000 humans were dead or missing. The survivors sent a desperate message to Earth. "Help us, we are dying." When the news reached the solar system, the shock was like a knife to the heart. On Earth, in the underground chambers of the United Earth Directorate, leaders gathered in silence. Admiral Jonathan Hale sat at the head of the table. He was a tall man with grey hair and sharp eyes. In his hands was the report from Series 9. The photographs showed burned children, broken homes, and corpses lined along shattered streets. The room was quiet for a long time. No one wanted to speak. Finally, Hale's voice broke the silence. 30,000 civilians, murdered in cold blood, and the Council laughed at us again this morning. President Alina Kwan leaned forward. Her face was pale, but her voice was steel. "We cannot ignore this. Not anymore." The ministers around the table shifted uneasily. For 100 years, Earth had avoided war. The memory of the world wars and the early space conflicts had taught them caution. But this was different. "This is not weakness," Hale said. His voice grew colder with each word. "This is restraint. We wanted peace. We wanted cooperation. But the galaxy has mistaken kindness for fear. That mistake will end tonight." The ministers looked at one another. None spoke against him. The rage in the room was too heavy, too raw. President Kwan gave the order. "Activate Project Revenant." The chamber shook as the words left her lips. Humanity's darkest, most secret project was awake. For decades, hidden beneath the ice of Europa, Earth had been building in secret. Vast shipyards stretched under the frozen surface, invisible to alien sensors. Engineers worked in silence, constructing ships no one had seen. The aliens thought Earth was weak. They never noticed the missing resources, the diverted energy, the silent fleets that never came back from training. Project Revenant was humanity's insurance policy. A fleet built for the day patience ended. Now the day had come. Massive black warships rose from beneath Europa's crust, their engines lighting the ice like fire. Battleships longer than cities, carriers with hulls as thick as mountains, and, at the heart of the fleet, the dreadnought Nemesis, a ship designed for one purpose, to end wars before they began. Admiral Hale stood aboard the Nemesis, watching the ships rise. His voice carried through the fleet's channels. "We asked for peace. They answered with blood. Now we answer with war." The fleet roared to life. Words spread quickly across human space. Colonists and soldiers whispered of the awakening fleet. Families wept with both pride and fear. They had never wanted war, but now no one doubted it was necessary. On alien worlds, rumors began to leak. Traders spoke of human fleets moving in silence. Spies reported entire shipyards gone dark. Some laughed, calling it human bluffing. Others felt an unease they could not explain. In the council chambers, Ambassador Maya Velasquez returned with fire in her eyes. She said nothing of Project Revenant. She simply watched the alien delegates sneer, and this time she smiled. The galaxy had no idea what was coming. 1 week after the massacre, another attack struck. This time, the pirates targeted the colony of Armstrong Reach. They expected an easy raid, the same as before. But when they dropped out of warp, they found something waiting. The Nemesis was there. The pirates laughed at first. Just one ship, they thought. They fired everything they had, torpedoes, plasma beams, rail cannons, but the Nemesis did not flinch. Its shields burned with a red glow, absorbing every strike, then it fired back. In one shot, the dreadnought's main cannon tore through. 3 pirate cruisers. Another volley destroyed their command ship. The pirates scattered in panic, but the human fleet had already surrounded them. None escaped. The battle was over in minutes. The colony was saved, and the news spread like wildfire. Humanity had fought back and won. That night, Admiral Hale addressed the entire human race. His speech was broadcast across Earth, Mars, the colonies, and every ship in space. "For too long," he said, "we have been patient. We have trusted the galaxy to respect us. We believed in peace, even when they mocked us, even when they murdered our people. But patience has its limits." He paused, his eyes hard as iron. "They thought we were weak. They thought we would never strike back. But tonight I promise you this: humanity will never be victims again. To every empire, to every pirate, to every council delegate who called us harmless, listen well. We are done being nice." The message ended. Across the stars, humanity stood taller. Colonists cheered. Soldiers prepared for battle. Families lit candles for the dead and vowed their lives would not be wasted. In the council chambers, silence fell as alien leaders replayed Hale's words. For the first time in centuries, the galaxy felt something it had never felt from Earth. Before, fear. The galaxy believed humans were loud. They sang in markets, argued in council halls, and filled space with their endless chatter. But when humanity prepared for war, they grew silent. Across the solar system, whole stations went dark. Traffic lanes were cleared. Civilian freighters vanished from scanners, reappearing weeks later, stripped of cargo. No one outside Earth understood what was happening, but every colonist could feel it. Something vast was moving in the shadows. On Europa, under miles of ice, the shipyards burned at full capacity. Crews in heavy suits welded armor plates, forged weapons, and loaded supplies into titanic hulls. The Nemesis stood at the heart of it all, its black silhouette like a fortress in space. It had already tasted blood. Now it waited for a war it was born to fight. Admiral Jonathan Hale stood in the command chamber of the Nemesis. Holographic stars spun around him, each one marked with glowing symbols. Red icons marked enemy routes. Green showed human fleets. Yellow meant colonies still vulnerable. He looked at the board with cold precision. Humanity could not match the numbers of the galaxy. The Council's great powers had hundreds of fleets. Humanity had only one great armada, and it was not yet complete. But Hale understood something the Council did not. Numbers did not win wars. Preparation did. He turned to his officers. "We will not wait for the Council to strike first. We will move before they realize we are ready. Silence is our weapon now. The galaxy must believe we are harmless until it is too late." Captain Ayla Rourke, commander of the carrier Vigilant, frowned. "Admiral, how long until they notice the missing resources? The spies cannot all be blind." "They will notice," Hale said. His eyes narrowed. "But by the time they understand, our fleet will already be at their throats." Every human hand was needed. Factories on Earth shifted from cars to weapons. Martian refineries sent endless steel to the shipyards. Asteroid miners dug until their hands bled, knowing every rock pulled from the belt would become a cannon or a hull plate. Children on the colonies painted stars on care packages, sending food and letters to soldiers they would never meet. Families gave their savings to Vonship crews. Humanity had been mocked for centuries, but now the fire of anger burned through every home. On Titan, an engineer named Samuel Ortiz worked 20-hour shifts, welding armor onto a cruiser. His wife sent him messages each night telling him their children were proud. Samuel worked with tears on his face, but his hands never shook. He knew why he worked. He remembered the images from Series 9. He remembered the laughter of the Council. The work never stopped. Of course, the galaxy was not blind. The Thark Empire sent spies to human space, desperate to learn the truth. One spy ship slipped into the solar system, hiding in the shadow of Saturn's rings. Its crew scanned with silent eyes, recording ship movements. They saw freighters vanish into Europa. They saw strange heat patterns beneath the ice. The captain of the spy ship clicked his mandibles with fear. He prepared to send his report, but before he could activate the transmitter, a shadow crossed his view screen. A black shape emerged from the rings. A human stealth destroyer. Its hull was covered with sensor-absorbing panels, its engines whisper-quiet. The alien spy had only seconds to scream before the destroyer's railguns tore the ship apart. No signal escaped. The galaxy remained blind. Mars, a gathering of leaders, stood before a sea of colonists. President Alina Kwan's voice carried through the thin air, amplified by speakers. "Brothers and sisters of humanity," she said. "The galaxy thinks we are weak. They think they can kill our children and mock our dead. They think we will bow. They are wrong. Today we rise together, Mars, Earth, Luna, the Belt, and every colony in the dark. We are one people, one species, one voice. We will never be silenced again." The crowd roared. Men and women raised their fists. Children shouted words they did not fully understand, but would remember all their lives. Humanity was no longer fractured. It was a single blade, sharpened and ready. Deep within the shipyards, weapons long hidden were prepared for war. The first was the Aegis Grid. Massive satellites armed with rail cannons and shield projectors, able to defend whole planets. They were disguised as communication hubs, but once activated, they could cut through entire fleets. The second was the Leviathan program. Giant war mechs, each the size of a tower, designed for planetary assaults. The galaxy had laughed when they heard of humans building walking machines. No, those machines stood ready, carrying enough firepower to level cities. The third was the most dangerous of all, the Black Lance, a weapon mounted on the Nemesis, able to fire a beam of compressed plasma across light minutes. Nothing could withstand it. It was a weapon designed not for battles, but for annihilation. Admiral Hale inspected each system personally. He said nothing as he watched the weapon's arm, but the officers who stood beside him felt the weight of his silence. Humanity had been forced into this war, but now they were ready to finish it. Meanwhile, in the shining chambers of the Galactic Council, the laughter continued. Reports of human fleets moving were brushed aside. Warnings from spies were ignored. Diki, Croth Ambassador, a creature with 6 arms and jeweled robes, scoffed. Humans cannot build war fleets. They have no resources. They trade for everything. They are bluffing. The Council agreed. They passed no new resolutions. They increased no patrols. They believed Earth was too fractured, too weak, too soft. Their ignorance was the shield humanity needed. In orbit above Earth, fleets assembled in silence. Black hulls drifted through the void, their engines muted. The ships did not broadcast signals. They did not appear on alien charts. They were ghosts in the dark. Admiral Hale walked the decks of the Nemesis. Everywhere he went, soldiers stood straighter, engineers worked faster. They saw the fire in his eyes and felt the weight of what was coming. He stopped before a viewport, staring at the curve of Earth below. The blue oceans, the white clouds, the green forests. It was beautiful, it was fragile, and he would burn the stars before he let it fall. Captain Rourke approached quietly. "Admiral, when do we move?" Hale did not answer at first. His eyes stayed on the Earth. Finally, his voice was steady and cold. "Soon, when they least expect it." Every soldier knew the war would come quickly. Training was ruthless. On the decks of carriers, Marines drilled with pulse rifles until their arms shook. Pilots ran endless simulations, practicing maneuvers against alien ships. Engineers trained to repair damage under fire, racing against countdown clocks while alarms screamed. On the ground, the Leviathan mechs were tested in the deserts of Mars. Their thunderous steps shook the red soil as they fired cannons into mountains, tearing them down in seconds. Children watched from far away, their eyes wide with awe. They knew those machines would soon march across alien worlds. Fear was gone from the human heart. Only purpose remained. At last, the preparation reached its peak. The fleets were armed. The colonies united. The weapons charged. Humanity stood at the edge of the storm. In the war room of the Nemesis, Admiral Hale gave the order. "Transmit the signal." Across human space, coded bursts flashed through the void. Lights turned. Green on every shipyard. Alarms rang on every station. Fleets began to move, slowly at first, then faster. Civilian traffic was rerouted. Colonies sealed their domes. Soldiers kissed their families goodbye. The great machine of humanity had awakened, and nothing could stop it. In alien space, strange rumors began to spread. Traders whispered of whole human systems gone silent. Convoys reported black ships slipping past them without a word. A few captains swore they had seen a giant warship that vanished before sensors could confirm. The Council dismissed the rumors again, but beneath the surface, fear began to grow. Some worlds increased defenses. Others quietly evacuated border colonies. For the first time, the galaxy wondered if Earth was not harmless after all. On the bridge of the Nemesis, Admiral Hale stood alone. Around him, the stars were quiet. His crew watched him in silence, waiting. He spoke at last, his voice calm and final. "We have given them every chance. We have asked for peace. We have begged for respect. They answered with blood. Now we answer with steel." The order was simple. Prepare for war. The fleet moved. Engines lit the dark, silent and deadly. Humanity had finished preparing. The storm was ready to break, and the galaxy had no idea what was coming. The stars along the rim were calm. Merchant ships drifted between colonies, hauling food, fuel, and ore. To the aliens who controlled the trade lanes, it was routine. The Shikir humans, as always, paid their tolls and stayed quiet. But on this night, silence carried a different weight. A Thark convoy of 10 freighters moved through the system of Balaris. The freighters were escorted by 4 cruisers, their hulls glowing with the bright gold of the Thark Empire. The captains spoke over comms, laughing about Earth's recent protests in the Council. "They whine about pirates again," one captain sneered. "They cannot even protect their own colonies." "They are harmless," another replied, "always begging, never fighting. They will never rise against us." The convoy never reached its destination. From the shadow of a dead moon, something stirred. Human warships glided into the trade lane. Their hulls were black, covered in sensor-absorbing armor. No lights, no signals, no insignia. They appeared like predators rising from the deep. The Thark cruisers noticed too late. "Unidentified vessels, state your allegiance," the lead cruiser demanded. Its sensors tried to scan, but the readings came back broken and scrambled. Admiral Jonathan Hale stood on the bridge of the dreadnought Nemesis, his hands clasped behind his back. His voice was calm as stone. "Target the lead cruiser. Fire!" The order raced through the fleet. A human destroyer unleashed a railgun volley. Tungsten slugs, traveling at a fraction of light speed, tore through the alien cruiser's shields as if they were paper. The ship split apart in fire. The convoy erupted in panic. The remaining Thark cruisers turned to fight, weapons glowing. They fired beams of plasma and swarms of missiles, but the human fleet had trained for this moment. Frigates darted forward, releasing clouds of drones. The drones spun around incoming missiles, shredding them before impact. Carriers launched squadrons of strike craft, sleek fighters armed with rail cannons. The Nemesis fired its Black Lance. A blinding beam of white plasma cut across the stars, punching straight through a cruiser and slicing into a freighter behind it. Both ships vanished in a storm of fire. Panic spread across the Thark convoy. The freighters broke formation, fleeing in every direction. "Do not let them escape," Hale ordered. Human destroyers pursued like wolves. One by one, the freighters were cornered and destroyed. The Thark ships tried to surrender, but no answer came. Humanity had not forgotten the burned children of Series 9. There would be no mercy. Only one freighter remained. Its engines sputtered, its shields burned away. A boarding team of human marines stormed the vessel. Inside, they found cargo full of stolen goods. Food, weapons, even human prisoners taken from raids. The Marines freed the captives and left the Thark crew alive but bound. Admiral Hale gave them a single order: send them back, let them tell the galaxy what they saw. The surviving aliens were placed in an escape pod and set adrift. Their eyes were wide with horror as the human dreadnought loomed behind them, silent and merciless. They knew their message would spread like wildfire. News of the attack traveled fast. The survivors reached Thark space, screaming of black ships and weapons no one had ever seen. They told stories of human war machines tearing fleets apart. At first, the Thark commanders dismissed it as cowardice. But then more reports came. A mining station on the rim destroyed, a patrol fleet ambushed and wiped out, entire trade routes gone silent. The aliens tried to explain it away. Pirates, rebels, exaggeration. Yet every new whisper carried the same terrifying detail. The attackers were human. In the council chambers, panic began to grow. The Croth ambassador slammed his 6 arms on the table. "This is impossible. Humans cannot fight like this. They do not have the technology." But the reports kept coming. Dozens of alien ships destroyed in a week. Entire sectors destabilized. Ambassador Maya Velasquez stood in the chamber, silent. She did not confirm the rumors. She did not deny them. She only watched as the powerful empires that had mocked Earth now argued in fear. The Council voted to send a fleet to investigate, but fleets took time to assemble, and time was something the humans controlled now. The next strike came against the Kroth Empire itself. In the system of Dareth Prime, a Kroth battleship escorted a convoy of war supplies. The ship was massive, armed with plasma lances capable of burning cities from orbit. The humans struck first. Fighters swarmed in from every direction, their railguns cutting through the battleship's point defenses. Frigates launched torpedoes, with warheads designed to penetrate shields. The dreadnought Nemesis fired its black lance once more, tearing a hole straight through the Kroth battleship's core. The explosion lit the system for minutes. Survivors screamed into their comms. Across human channels, Admiral Hale's voice was broadcast. "You called us harmless. You killed our people. You laughed at our grief. We are done being nice. Tell your masters, humanity is coming." The message spread through captured channels, echoing across the stars. The galaxy could not believe it. How had humans built such weapons in silence? How had they assembled fleets without anyone noticing? It was impossible. And yet, it was happening. Before their eyes, some empires demanded immediate retaliation. Others wanted to negotiate. Some even suggested retreating from human space entirely. But one truth was clear. Humanity was no longer harmless. They were hunters, and the galaxy was their prey. Back in the solar system, Admiral Hale stood before his officers. "This is only the beginning," he said. His voice was calm, but every word carried the weight of iron. "We will strike fast and vanish. We will bleed them until they are too afraid to stand against us. Every fleet we destroy, every convoy we burn, every whisper we spread, it all leads to one truth. Humanity will never be mocked again." Captain Rourke nodded. "And if they unite against us," Hale's eyes were cold, "then they will learn what war with humans truly means. For the first time in history, the great empires of the stars felt fear of Earth. Merchants refused to enter human space. Patrols doubled their numbers. Colonies sent desperate pleas for protection. Yet still, the black ships of humanity struck without warning, leaving wreckage behind and vanishing into the dark. The galaxy had underestimated Earth for the last time. The first strike was over. The war had begun, and the galaxy would never be the same. The Galactic Council chamber had never been so tense. The great hall, filled with thousands of delegates, usually echoed with arguments, trade disputes, and the laughter of empires. But now the voices were quiet. Fear hung in the air. Reports had piled too high to ignore. Thark convoys gone. Kroth battleships destroyed. Trade routes silent. Every whisper carried the same words: black ships, human weapons, merciless attacks. The Kroth ambassador slammed his 6 arms on the table. "This must stop. Humanity cannot be allowed to continue these raids. They are destabilizing the galaxy." The Thark delegate hissed in agreement. "They were supposed to be harmless. Now they act like predators. If we do not crush them now, they will rise too far." Ambassador Maya Velasquez sat silently at her podium, her dark eyes steady. She listened as the aliens argued, demanding fleets, demanding vengeance, demanding action. She finally spoke. Her voice was calm, measured. "You had centuries to treat humanity with respect. You laughed at us, ignored us, and allowed raiders to murder our people. And now you act surprised. That we defend ourselves?" The chamber erupted in anger. Maya did not argue further. She only leaned back in her chair. She knew something the others did not. Outside the council station, in the cold void of space, something moved. The station orbited a blue-white star, its surface gleaming with towers and defenses. Around it hung the fleets of many empires, their ships bright with banners. It was a fortress of politics and pride. No enemy had ever dared approach it, until now. A single ripple appeared in the void. Then a shadow emerged. The human dreadnought Nemesis dropped out of warp. Its black hull gleamed like a blade, its weapons charged. It was alone, but its presence shook the fleets nearby. Sensors screamed as they struggled to lock onto it. Weapons. Primed, targeting systems tried to aim, but the nemesis did not fire. It only drifted closer, silent and steady. Inside the station, alarms blared, delegates shouted, some demanded evacuation, others demanded immediate attack. But before any decision was made, the human ship opened a channel. Every screen in the main council chamber flickered. The lights dimmed. A human face appeared, tall and stern, Admiral Jonathan Hale. His voice was deep and cold. It carried across the hall, translated into every language, and broadcast far beyond the station. Entire planets, colonies, and fleets across the galaxy saw his face. "You called us harmless," Hale said. "You mocked us while raiders murdered our people. You thought patience was weakness. You thought mercy was fear. You were wrong." He paused, letting the silence stretch, his eyes burning into every delegate. "Humanity has endured your insults, your raids, and your betrayals. No more. We will not beg for protection. We will not ask for respect. We will take it." Gasps echoed through the chamber. The delegates shifted in panic. Hale's words rolled on like thunder. "To the pirates, the raiders, the slavers, you are already dead. To the empires who laughed at us, you will feel our wrath. And to the council itself, hear me well. Leave Earth and her colonies alone, or we will bring this war to your very heart." His image leaned forward, eyes like steel. "You have mistaken kindness for weakness. That mistake ends today." The screen went black. The chamber was frozen. No one spoke for long seconds. The delegates looked at one another, some pale with fear, others trembling with rage. Finally, the Croth ambassador shouted, "Attack them now! Destroy that ship!" But the Thark delegate shook his head, his scales pale. "Did you not see what they did to our convoys? That one ship may destroy half our fleet before it falls. We must think." Panic grew louder, spreading through the chamber like fire. Some demanded unity against Earth, some demanded peace, others whispered of surrender. Ambassador Maya Velasquez stood once more, her voice cut through the noise. "You wanted humanity to be quiet. You wanted us to bow. That era is over. We are not harmless. We are not prey. Remember that when you decide your next move." She turned and left the chamber, leaving silence in her wake. The broadcast did not stay in the chamber. It spread across the galaxy, carried by every channel, every relay, every comm system. On Thark mining worlds, laborers huddled around screens, watching the human admiral's face. For the first time, they saw fear in their overlord's eyes. On Croth colonies, soldiers gripped their weapons tighter. They had heard stories of the nemesis. Now they saw the man who commanded it. On small worlds ruled by minor species, whispers grew louder. Some asked, could the humans be our chance? Could they break the Council's chains? The galaxy had mocked Earth for centuries. Now, for the first time, they listened. While the galaxy argued, the human fleet did not wait. The nemesis withdrew. From the Council station, without firing a shot, but across the stars, other human fleets were already on the move. Destroyers stalked trade lanes, ambushing convoys. Frigates raided outposts, striking hard and vanishing before reinforcements arrived. Carriers unleashed fighters against pirate bases, burning them from orbit. Every strike carried the same message. Humanity had risen. Admiral Hale watched from the bridge of the Nemesis. His officers reported success after success, convoys destroyed, colonies freed, pirates annihilated, but his expression remained grim. "They will unite against us soon," he said. "When they do, we must already hold the advantage." Back in the Council chamber, chaos reigned. The Croth demanded immediate war. The Thark argued for caution. Smaller species begged for negotiation, fearing the humans would target them next. One delegate, a frail insectoid from the Drell species, whispered words that made the chamber shake. "What if we cannot stop them?" The chamber fell silent. No, one wanted to admit it, but the thought was already spreading. What if the humans truly were unstoppable? On the Nemesis, Admiral Hale stood at the viewport, staring at the stars. The galaxy saw him as a predator, a warlord. In truth, he was tired. He remembered the faces from Series 9, burned and broken. He remembered the laughter of the Council. He had not chosen this war. The galaxy had forced it upon humanity. But, now that it had begun, he would see it through to the end. Captain Rourke stepped beside him. "Admiral, your message shook them. The Council is in chaos." Hale nodded slowly. "Good. Let them fear. Fear will slow them. Fear will give us time. And time is all we need." Days later, another broadcast was sent. This time it did not come from Hale alone. It came from Earth itself. President Alina Kwan stood before a backdrop of Earth's blue oceans. Her voice was clear and firm. "People of the galaxy, hear me. Humanity did not seek this war, but you left us no choice. You raided our colonies. You murdered our children. You mocked our grief. We will not be victims again. From this day forward, Earth is not harmless. We are not prey. We are hunters. And if you cross us, you will fall." Her words spread across the stars like fire. Some species cheered in secret, hoping the humans would shatter their oppressors. Others prepared for battle, desperate to stop Earth's rise. The galaxy had been given its warning. On the Council station, fleets began to assemble. Dozens of empires poured ships into orbit, preparing for war. The skies around the station blazed with weapons and banners. But in the dark of space, human fleets were already moving. They struck where the enemy was weakest, bleeding them before the war had even begun. Every whisper, every rumor, every broadcast carried the same truth. Humanity had sent its message, the galaxy had heard, and the galaxy would pay the price. The void above the Council station was no longer calm. It had become a storm. Thousands of warships from dozens of empires filled the darkness. Croth battlecruisers, bristling with heavy cannons, Thark destroyers, sharp and fast as blades, swarms of smaller craft from the Vale, the Dran, the Zek, and a dozen other species. The galaxy, divided for centuries, had found one thing they all agreed on. The humans had to be stopped. From orbit, the fleets looked endless. Their weapons glowed red and gold. Their banners shimmered in the light of the star. It was a sight meant to terrify, and it worked. Even the Council delegates who had demanded this war now stared at the armada with unease. On the command deck of the Croth flagship Dominion's Fist, Warlord Garrock bared his teeth. His thick claws tapped against the railing as he gazed at the fleet. "Let the humans come," he growled. "We will crush them under our boots and scatter their ashes across the stars." The Thark admiral beside him hissed in agreement, though her eyes betrayed doubt. Earth prepares on. Earth, the mood was different. The skies above the planet filled with ships, but not with endless numbers. Humanity had far fewer vessels than the galaxy's empires. Their fleet was smaller, newer, and forged under pressure. Yet every ship carried weapons the aliens did not understand. In orbit, carriers launched squadrons of sleek black fighters. Dreadnoughts like the Nemesis and the Aegis took position, their hulls lined with experimental railguns and plasma lances. Stations around Earth glowed with new shield arrays, built in secret for decades. On the ground, cities braced for bombardment. Civilians were evacuated into bunkers. Soldiers armed themselves in armored suits. Every person, from soldier to farmer, knew the same truth. The storm was coming. Admiral Jonathan Hale stood on the bridge of the Nemesis, his eyes fixed on the tactical map. Red icons filled the screen, representing the enemy fleet gathering on the edge of Sul. "They are coming in force," Captain Rourke said quietly. Hale nodded. "Good, let them come. We will show them that Sul is not theirs to take." The alien fleet entered Sol with fury. Dozens of jump signatures flared near Neptune, filling the outer system with hostile warships. The Dominion's Fist led the charge, its massive cannons glowing. Behind it poured the Thark destroyer swarms and Vale assault craft. The galaxy's greatest powers moved as one. The first target was Triton, Neptune's icy moon. A small human outpost sat on its surface, meant for research and mining. The aliens wanted to send a message. Croth cannons lit the ice in fire. The outpost melted into molten rock. Human scientists barely had time to send a distress call before they were gone. The council delegates, watching from secure channels, roared with approval. Humanity, they believed, would finally understand what it meant to defy the galaxy. But Hale did not panic. He waited. As the alien fleets pushed deeper into Sol, human resistance began. Near Jupiter, a fleet of human destroyers appeared, darting from behind the planet's massive storms. They opened fire with railguns, slamming projectiles into alien hulls. Croth ships reeled under the impacts, their shields shattering. Then the Thark destroyers counterattacked, swarming around the smaller human ships. Their plasma fire burned bright. Human destroyers exploded in bursts of fire and metal, but just as the aliens pressed forward, something else happened. From Jupiter's shadow, hidden in the blackness, human dreadnoughts emerged. The Aegis and the Vanguard unleashed their weapons at once. Beams of energy carved through alien cruisers. Missiles streaked into formations, scattering fleets in chaos. The aliens had walked into a trap. Captain Rourke smiled grimly. They thought we would run. Instead, we waited. Hale's voice was steady. We bleed them here, Captain, but this is only the beginning. The fight at Jupiter raged for hours. Thousands of ships clashed, tearing into one another with weapons that turned the void into fire. Debris rained down into the planet's storms, leaving trails of burning metal. But the aliens had numbers. For every ship destroyed, 2 more entered the system. Slowly, painfully, the human lines began to bend. Admiral, we cannot hold them here forever, Rourke warned. Hale nodded. Then we will not. Pull back toward Mars, make them chase us, make them pay for every kilometer. The human fleet retreated, not in panic, but in discipline. They left behind minefields, drone swarms, and ambushes hidden in asteroid belts. Every step back was costly for the aliens. The galaxy had come to crush Earth quickly. Instead, they found themselves wading through a storm of fire. The aliens finally reached Mars. The red planet, scarred by centuries of colonization, became the next battlefield. Human orbital defenses opened fire, railguns launching metal slugs at impossible speeds. Alien cruisers shattered under the bombardment. Yet the alien fleets pressed on, surrounding the planet. Croth troops landed in drop pods, slamming into Martian soil. Thark soldiers followed, their scales glistening under the sun. Cities burned. Colonists fought street by street, refusing to surrender. On the surface, a young Martian officer named Lieutenant Sarah Duval led her squad through the ruins of New Alexandria. Her armor was cracked, her rifle hot, but her voice was steady. Hold the line, she told her squad. If they want Mars, they will choke on it. Her soldiers fought with desperation, ambushing alien troops in alleys, using tunnels to strike from below. Every building became a fortress. Every street became a battlefield. From orbit, Hale watched the chaos. His heart was heavy. Mars was burning. But every day the aliens spent here, every ship they lost, was time for Earth to prepare. In the council chamber, the delegates watched with glee as Mars burned. The Croth ambassador roared in triumph. See how they fall. Soon Earth itself will kneel before us. The Thark delegate nodded, though unease still flickered in her eyes. Yes, humanity is bleeding. The war will end soon. But not all were convinced. The smaller species whispered among themselves. They had seen human cunning, human traps, human resilience. Some wondered if this war would not end as quickly as the Council hoped. And on the screens, Admiral Hale's face appeared again, calm and unbroken. You think Mars is your victory, he said, but Mars is only the beginning. You will learn what it means to invade a world defended by humans. You will learn why Earth is called the cradle of war. As the alien fleets pushed toward Earth, the final defense lines formed. The human fleet, battered but unbroken, regrouped around the planet. Massive stations powered up their shields. Dreadnoughts spread into formation, their weapons glowing with stored energy. Fighters swarmed like angry hornets. On the surface, cities became fortresses. Soldiers prepared for bombardment. Civilians carried supplies into bunkers deep underground. Humanity stood together, every man, woman, and child, ready to fight. On the bridge of the Nemesis, Hale stood tall. His fleet was outnumbered 5-1. His ships were damaged, his people were tired, but his eyes burned with fire. Today, he said, the galaxy believes they will break us. Today we show them that humanity does not break. We fight, we endure, we win. The crew roared in response. The alien fleet advanced, their banners shining in the sun. The battle for Earth was about to begin. The skies above Earth were never quiet anymore. Hundreds of human ships orbited the planet, their hulls scarred from battles at Jupiter and Mars. The glow of weapon ports lined the dark, like fireflies waiting to strike. On the ground, cities prepared for war. Sirens wailed as civilians filled bunkers deep beneath the surface. Soldiers lined the walls of underground fortresses. Defense. Shields shimmered faintly in the sky, stretching over the great cities like domes of blue light. From orbit, Earth looked peaceful, covered in oceans and green continents, but behind that beauty stood fury. Humanity was waiting, holding its breath, ready to strike. On the bridge of the Nemesis, Admiral Jonathan Hale studied the tactical map. The alien fleet was close now. The screen glowed red, with thousands of hostile signatures. They were entering the edge of Earth's system, moving in formation, covering space like a tide. Captain Rourke broke the silence. "They're coming, sir. More ships than we have ever faced." Hale's eyes never left the screen. "Good. Let the galaxy see what happens when they invade Earth." The alien fleet arrived with thunder. Croth battleships filled the void with their size, each one armed with cannons that could split moons. Thark destroyers swarmed around them, their sleek forms darting like wolves. Behind them came endless waves of smaller craft, fighters and bombers designed to overwhelm defenses. The Dominion's Fist, the flagship of Warlord Garrock, led the armada. Its hull glowed crimson, and its cannons were hot with power. Garrock stood on his bridge, baring his teeth in a cruel smile. "Today we erase Earth from the stars," he growled. "No one will ever dare defy us again." His fleet pushed forward, their weapons ready to fire. The silence of space shattered. Human defense stations around Earth opened fire first. Railguns launched massive slugs at near-light speed, striking alien cruisers. Plasma lances cut through. Shields. Explosions lit the void. As the first alien ships fell, the aliens answered. Beams of energy lanced across the dark, slamming into human defenses. Several orbital stations exploded in brilliant bursts, their fragments burning into Earth's atmosphere like meteors. Then the fleets clashed. Fighters swarmed in every direction, black human craft against the silver and green of alien designs. Missiles streaked between capital ships. Cannons roared, shaking even the void. The battle for Earth had begun. Admiral Hale stood tall as the Nemesis shook under heavy fire. He did not blink. "Order the fleet into the second line," he commanded. "Let them push forward, then close." The Jaws. Human destroyers retreated in perfect formation, luring the alien ships deeper toward Earth. The Croth and Thark commanders, hungry for blood, took the bait. Their fleets surged forward, believing the humans were breaking. Then Hale gave the order, "Now, close the trap." From behind the moon, hidden fleets emerged. Human cruisers and frigates cloaked by lunar shadows cut into the alien flanks. Beams of energy tore into their formations. Alien ships exploded by the dozens. The aliens had walked into a kill zone. While fleets clashed above, the war reached Earth soil. Alien landing craft broke through weakened sections of the orbital. defenses. Dozens slammed into the surface, opening like claws. Kroth warriors and Thark soldiers poured out, weapons blazing. In Africa, a massive force struck near Cairo. In Europe, Thark destroyers landed near Berlin. In Asia, Kroth shock troops descended upon Shanghai. The war was no longer just in the skies. Earth itself was under siege, but humanity did not run. In Cairo, tanks rolled through the streets, their cannons blasting alien troops to pieces. Soldiers with rail rifles fought from rooftops. Civilians armed with old weapons joined the fight, ambushing aliens in alleys. In Berlin, human mechs strode through the ruins, their heavy weapons tearing apart Thark infantry. Resistance fighters lured enemy squads into traps, detonating explosives. Hidden in subway tunnels. In Shanghai, armored brigades clashed with Kroth war beasts, their roars shaking the city. Human aircraft screamed overhead, dropping fire into alien formations. Every city became a battlefield. Every street became a war zone. Humanity was bleeding, but it was not falling. On Mars, Lieutenant Sarah Duval had refused evacuation. Her squad had survived the burning of New Alexandria, and now they were on Earth, holding the ruins of Paris. The Eiffel Tower lay shattered, half buried in rubble. Alien troops pushed through the streets, their weapons cutting through human barricades. Duval raised her rifle and shouted, "Stand firm! This is Earth! They will not take it!" Her squad fought with fury. Grenades tore through enemy ranks. Snipers fired from ruined buildings. Duval herself charged into the fight, her armor scorched, her hands steady. The aliens expected easy prey. Instead, they found wolves. Above Earth, the fleets continued their deadly dance. The human ambush from the moon had torn deep wounds into the alien formation, but numbers still pressed hard. The Nemesis shook as enemy beams struck its shields. The Aegis was crippled, its engines burning. The Vanguard fought surrounded, its cannons firing until the barrels melted. "Admiral, we cannot hold much longer," Rourke warned. Hale's eyes hardened. "Then we strike where it hurts." He pointed to the massive red icon on the map, the Dominion's fist. "Target their flagship. Cut off the head, and the body will falter." The order spread. Human ships focused fire. Railguns roared, beams lanced out. Missiles streaked toward the Kroth flagship. Warlord Garrock laughed on his bridge as his shields absorbed the blows. "Pathetic. Is this the best humans can offer?" Then the Nemesis charged. The Nemesis and the Dominion's fist closed. Distance, trading fire that lit the void brighter than a star. Cannons ripped into hulls, shields screamed, armor peeled away. On the Nemesis, sparks rained as consoles exploded. Officers shouted reports of fires, breaches, casualties, but Hale stood firm. "Keep firing, do not stop," on the Dominions. "Fist," Garrock roared in triumph as his cannons tore into the human dreadnought. "Die, little earthlings, die under the might of the Kroth." But then the Nemesis revealed its weapon. From its core, a massive railgun, larger than anything ever built, powered up. Energy hummed through the ship. The weapon glowed white-hot. "Fire," Hale commanded. The shot roared into the void. A single slug, moving faster than thought, slammed into the Dominion's fist. The Kroth flagship's shield shattered. The slug tore through its hull, ripping it open from bow to stern. Garrock had only a second to scream before his ship exploded in a ball of fire. The Kroth flagship's destruction rippled through the alien fleet. Confusion spread. Commanders shouted conflicting orders. Formations broke. Human ships seized the moment. The Nemesis and its allies pushed forward, carving through the disorganized enemy. Fighters swarmed, cutting down alien bombers. Railguns thundered, tearing ships apart. On the ground, human troops cheered as alien command ships fell from the skies. Morale surged. Soldiers fought harder. Civilians rose from bunkers to join the resistance. The galaxy had come to crush Earth. Instead, Earth was breaking them. As the battle raged, Admiral Hale opened a broadcast to every channel, just as he had before. His voice carried over the chaos of war. People of the galaxy, hear me. You thought Earth would kneel. You thought we would beg. You thought our kindness was weakness. Today, you learn the truth. We are humanity. We do not kneel. We fight. And if you dare to invade our home, you will bleed for every step. His words rang across the stars, filling soldiers and civilians alike with fire. The alien fleet, broken and scattered, retreated from Earth's orbit. Wreckage floated in the void, glowing red against the planet's blue light. Thousands of ships lay destroyed, their flames drifting like lanterns in the dark. On the ground, the battle still raged in cities and ruins. But humanity held. Earth had not fallen. On the bridge of the Nemesis, battered and scorched, Hale stood. Among his exhausted crew. This was only the first battle, he said. They will come again. But now they know. Humanity does not break. Humanity does not bow. And this war has only begun. His crew stood straighter, their eyes burning with the same fire. The battle for Earth was over. Humanity had survived the storm, but the war was far from finished. The smoke of war still hung over Earth. The alien fleet had retreated, but the scars of the battle were everywhere. Cities burned. Craters marked the countryside where orbital fire had struck. Wreckage of enemy ships fell through the atmosphere, lighting the skies with trails of flame. But Earth still stood. Humanity still breathed. The invasion had failed. In the ruins of Paris, Lieutenant Sarah Duval stood with her squad, looking up at the sky. The stars seemed different now. They were no longer unreachable lights. They were battlefields waiting to be claimed. We survived, one soldier whispered. Duval's eyes narrowed. Survived is not enough. Now it's our turn. On the bridge of the Nemesis, Admiral Jonathan Hale stood before his weary crew. The ship was scarred and battered. Its decks filled with wounded, but its heart still beat strong. Captain Rourke leaned against a console, his uniform torn. We held Earth, Admiral, but they will come again, and next time they will bring even more. Hale's eyes were like steel. Then we will not wait for them. It is time to take this war to their worlds. The crew looked at him, shocked, but inspired. Hale continued. The galaxy thought Earth was prey. Now they know fear. But fear is not enough. We must strike them where it hurts. We must show them that no world, no empire, no council is safe from humanity's wrath. The room was silent for a long moment. Then Rourke nodded. Where do we begin? Hale turned to the map of the stars. Red enemy territories glowed across the galaxy. His hand pointed at the largest, the Croth. Their fleets led the assault, their warlord commanded the invasion. They burned our colonies, we will burn theirs. The message went out across human space, to the colonies on Mars, scarred and broken, to the miners on the moons of Jupiter, to the civilians huddled in bunkers on Earth. Admiral Hale's voice filled the channels. People of humanity, the galaxy struck us with fire. They believed Earth would fall. They believed we would beg. They were wrong. We still stand. And now, we rise. Today we take this war to their doorsteps. Today we show the galaxy that humans do not wait to die. We strike back. The word spread like wildfire. Volunteers poured into recruiting stations. Engineers worked day and night to repair. Ships. Civilians offered supplies, food, and labor. Humanity was no longer just defending. Humanity was preparing to conquer. The human fleet, rebuilt and reinforced, launched from Earth. Dreadnoughts scarred from the last battle led the charge. Newly armed frigates and cruisers joined them, their hulls painted black. Carriers released wings of fighters, each pilot, hungry for revenge. At the heart of the fleet, the Nemesis guided the way. As they left Sul, Earth watched them go, a blue jewel sending its warriors into the night. The target was the Croth homeworld, Gareth Prime. The path to Gareth Prime was not easy. Human fleets struck through Croth territory, ambushing outposts and raiding supply lines. Colonies fell in days, their garrisons overwhelmed by relentless human attacks. At every battle, Admiral Hale made the same broadcast. "You burned our worlds, now we burn yours." The galaxy watched in shock as human fleets moved like a blade. Through the dark, no fortress held, no fleet stopped them. Every victory sent a message. Humanity was no longer prey. Humanity was a predator. The Croth homeworld was a fortress world. Gareth Prime orbited a massive red star, its skies filled. With shipyards and defense platforms, cities sprawled across its continents, their towers gleaming under the red light. The Croth had always believed their home untouchable, but they had never faced human fury. The human fleet dropped out of warp at the edge of the system. The Croth defenses lit up, thousands of guns turning toward them. Admiral Hale stood on the bridge of the Nemesis. His voice was steady. "Open fire!" The void erupted. Human railguns screamed, tearing through Croth stations. Fighters swarmed, overwhelming defenses. Dreadnoughts unleashed their massive cannons, splitting Croth cruisers in half. On the surface, human drop troops landed in burning pods, smashing into Gareth Prime's cities. They fought through the streets, rifles blazing, grenades exploding. Croth warriors roared in defiance, but the humans did not stop. They carved their way forward step by step, block by block. Above, the Nemesis faced the Croth High Fleet. The battle turned the skies red. But one by one, the Croth ships fell, their hulks burning in orbit. When the smoke cleared, Gareth Prime was broken. The destruction of the Croth homeworld sent shockwaves across the galaxy. On Thark worlds, soldiers trembled. On council stations, delegates argued in panic. On smaller planets, whispers spread. If the Croth can fall, then who is safe? Humanity sent its answer in fire. Gareth Prime burned, its shipyards shattered, its towers reduced to ash. The message was clear. No one who struck Earth would ever feel safe again. In the weeks that followed, humanity struck again and again. Croth colonies surrendered in fear. Pirate bases that had preyed on humans for centuries were wiped from existence. But it was not just fear that spread, it was hope. Oppressed species across the galaxy watched as humans fought against the great powers and won. Secret messages reached Earth. Some offered alliance, some begged for weapons, some simply asked if humans would come to free them next. Humanity had become more than a survivor. Humanity had become a symbol. On Gareth Prime, Lieutenant Sarah Duval stood among the ruins of a Croth palace. Her squad had fought through fire and blood to reach it. The Croth governor lay at her feet, captured and defeated. One of her soldiers asked, "What now, Lieutenant?" Duval looked at the ruined city. Smoke filled the skies. Croth civilians cowered in the shadows. Her voice was steady. "Now we remind the galaxy what we fight for. We are not conquerors, we are defenders. But if anyone comes for Earth again, this will be their fate." She ordered medical supplies given to the civilians, food distributed, shelters built. Humanity had struck with fire, but it would also show mercy. Back aboard the Nemesis, Admiral Hale looked out at the stars. The Croth had fallen, but he knew the war was far from over. The Council would rally, the Thark would strike again, more enemies would rise. Captain Rourke stepped beside him. "We have shaken the galaxy, sir. But what comes next?" Hale's gaze was unyielding. "Next, we prepare. The galaxy now knows fear, but they must also learn respect. Humanity will not be ignored again. From this day forward, Earth stands as an equal among the stars." He paused, his voice firm. "And if they try to take that from us, we will burn their empires to dust." News of Gareth Prime's fall spread faster than light. Entire systems erupted in rebellion, inspired by humanity's defiance. The council chamber shook with chaos. The galaxy was no longer the same. In the ruins of war, one truth remained. The galaxy had mocked Earth. The galaxy had attacked Earth. And now the galaxy would never forget Earth. Humanity had snapped, and the galaxy had paid the price.